Big career victory for Miles Johns, the new Miles Johns. Let's see what is in his future.
But the real new Miles Johns is a Miles Johns with the heart of a freaking lion. You are gonna have to kill me to get me out of this octagon.
Miles Chopper John! Welcome to UFC Unfiltered.
Please tell me that's on video. I've never been happier.
I'm made for a fucking podcast. We're dangerous. Listen to me, we're at it.
Welcome to UFC Unfiltered. I was trying to start, Matt, while you were still eating. I wanted to catch you with a full bite in your mouth, but then you asked our producer a question that kind of gave you a second. Interesting show today. Miles Johns, who had a very decisive win over Douglas Silva de Andrade, and it was a good decision win. And Mick Maynard, who put so many of those fights together, it's really, I would love to know some more of the behind the scenes stuff with what these guys do, because I would love to know what fight he has put together that other people told him that wouldn't be a great fight, and it turned out to be amazing. Like, there's got to be so many people telling you, do this, no, don't you do that? Like, you know, all these people, and I don't mean Sean Shelby and Dana. I mean people that are fucking, you know, his barber, or just his friends.
Knuckleheads. Yeah. Hey, this is the gourmet shit. This is vanilla French toast, what I'm drinking right now.
Oh, how is it? Some good gourmet coffee.
I'm telling you right now, it's a nice. Ooh, what are you drinking?
I'm having some gourmet coffee too. I was hoping you were going to do the Tarantino Pulp Fiction speech.
Well, what?
About the coffee?
About the coffee being that this is the gourmet shit?
Yeah, this is the gourmet shit. And he was just talking about how good the coffee is. I don't know the
speech.
I don't either.
It's the good shit because he likes the good shit.
Yeah.
His wife Bonnie. He wants to talk about that. He wants to talk about something else, which we're not going to talk about.
No.
That's the speech. But anyway, Tarantino's gonna get me in trouble. Hey, I buy the gourmet stuff. I think Jake's writing the whole thing out. But thank you, Jake. It's a good movie. Pulp Fiction, if anybody's wondering.
Yes. An interesting card, but what's really interesting is the fact that Chimaev is had to drop out, which is it's crazy the amount of bad luck UFC has had recently, and now they're like, he's had this ongoing illness. I don't know if it's long COVID or exactly what it is, but man, there's been some real shakeups. Conor out, obviously. Do you know what Conor's injury is, Matt? Are you familiar? Do you know?
I do not know.
I don't either.
Maybe we'll find that out. But hey, speaking of injuries, man, I kind of feel for Alex Perez in that main event the other night.
Oh my God, yeah.
Give it to Taira. Taira was he's living up to the hype. You know, that was a tough test. But Alex, listen, the injury was caused because he took his back, and so it's legit. Like,
I've never seen that before. What was that called? That the way he grabbed his legs and then leaned back like that? I've never seen someone do that.
Grabbed his legs and leaned back?
Like with his legs, like he was kind of straddling him. He was like almost on his back, but then he went to his side. It was like the way you carry a kid on your side, and then he like locked his leg and fell back, and then just fucking popped his knee.
The way he fell was weird. You know, that kind of just happened.
Yeah.
But the fact was, he was on his back looking to strangle him. I was very impressed with not only his grappling, obviously, it's what he's known for. I like his striking and his tie clinch. They also call that the plum. I don't call it the plum. That's weird. No. But the tie clinch, when he gets him. Anytime Alex was getting close, he would start to just take away his strikes by getting a hold of his head with that clinch and firing off some knees and just controlling him. And I was impressed by that because, you know, it's in that range where he can get hurt if he's just overzealous looking for the takedown, or he just gets that head. And but to Alex's credit, Alex was fighting really well up until he got caught. You know, I like the way he was going to the body and the head, coming in on different angles. It was fun while it lasted.
Yeah, and that was a nasty nasty fall. Like that's just when someone, and I watched the replay obviously, and you could see the second he went down, he was like it was just bad.
I've seen so many like injuries like that over the years, with like knees giving out and stuff. I like look away. I'm like, oh, I know how that's gonna. As I said that, my belly made a noise.
I've just never just the takedown he did. That was just so I've never seen that before. The way that went down.
Man, that kid's got so much potential. He's only
It's like a scissors thing across the legs. It's like some kind of a scissor takedown.
Speaking of scissoring, that new Acolyte show, what a piece of shit. What a piece of shit.
I'm gonna watch it. I can't wait to see it.
You know why, Jimmy? You think
Why?
like Planet of Lesbians would be kind of exciting?
Sure.
It's not.
Yeah.
You're at a fucking feminist rally. They're chanting. Want me to tell you the chant? I know.
I'd never dine in.
Jimmy, I could never get this chant out of my head. Jimmy, ready? And this is in a Star Wars room, right? There's a bunch of like alien space lesbians. Right?
Yeah.
I'm not. There's no guys on the planet, so
Sure.
and they're doing a little ceremony, right? And Jimmy, it's so cringe.
I don't think so.
Ready?
Yes.
Power of one, the power of two, the power of, and then they all go, many. Whoa. Whoa, Jimmy.
I like it a lot.
Then they do it again. Power of
One,
the
power of two,
the power
of many. I love it.
First of all,
I can't wait to see it. My favorite Star Wars now.
the Acolyte is just hot dog shit.
Do
right.
I have to see the other ones to watch this? And our guest is in the waiting room. Our first guest, Miles. Do I have to watch this? The other ones, or Matt? Because I just jumped
You don't
into
have to
this.
watch any. If anybody ever seen this and go, oh, this is Star Wars that I heard about, the thing with the lightsabers.
Yeah,
They look at that and go, oh.
I can't wait to watch the Acolyte. Is it on Apple TV?
Yeah, let's bring in Miles Johns and let's it's on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
But it is a piece of shit.
I can't wait to see it. I feel very psyched about it. I think you're being negative. Power of one.
The power to the power of many.
Many.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's not the grow up.
That sounds like a great chant. Hi,
Hey,
Miles. How you doing?
Congrats,
What's
Miles.
up, guys? I'm doing well. Hey, I appreciate it, man. How you
Hey,
doing?
Miles.
Good.
Hey, man. Listen, great fight. Powerful. I'm happy for you. You got to be on cloud nine. I don't want to ruin your party here, but did you ever see The Acolyte on Disney Plus?
I haven't seen that.
All right, don't see it. It's a piece of shit. Back to your fight. Congrats, man. How are we feeling? You don't even look like you've been in a fight.
I feel good. Yeah, I don't look like I've been in a fight. My voice is a little bit messed up because the dude punched me in the throat like 2 times. But other than that, I feel good. I've never had that happen before. Kind of crazy.
Wow, I've never heard anybody's voice affected after a fight like that. Was it immediately, or was it like the next day you woke up and you're like, oh?
It was pretty quickly after. Yeah, and I felt the punches, and I was in my head like, this effort just punched me in the throat. But it's all good. Things happen. He missed my jaw, so it's cool.
Man,
wow. So you went to the doctor, right?
I never heard of that before. I don't have much of that. But geez, either do you.
The doctor checked it out, and nothing serious, but I'll get it checked by a throat specialist soon.
Okay, well, you had it looked at, and he told you it was okay. You looked really good. They were talking a lot during your fight about your power and how it changes the way other people fight you now. That people are just really scared of your power, and a lot of, like they said, Silva de Andrade would more likely be reckless or kind of come in with a different energy, but against you, he was very cautious. Have you noticed that?
Dude, I have noticed that. I noticed it with Cody Gibson. I thought that he was going to bring a war to me, and he didn't. But I thought Douglas Silva Andrade was for sure be the one to not worry about my power and bring a war, but he didn't. So for me, I want to put on exciting fights. I keep thinking these guys are going to bring a war, and they're not. So I'll change things up to where I'm not so reliant on them to bring it to me, because I was like, oh, he's going to come reckless. I'm going to be countering his ass and I'm going to find my knockout. But every time I punch these dudes in the mouth, they stay on their back heel, even these dudes who normally bring war to people. So I am recognizing that. I appreciate the commentary for recognizing that and giving me my props on that, because that is, I do believe it's a skill. My timing and my power is a skill. But I'll start to add more to make the volume a little bit higher, to make these dudes come in. And that's where the antics came from. That's where like the yelling at him and like, come on, because when he was coming, I would crack him. I wanted him to come forward on me. But yeah, we'll change things up and I'll add more volume to my game to make it exciting.
It's so great that you started. I mean, you've been wrestling since, how old were you when you wrestled? Would you start
Third
in
grade.
Third grade? So you started with the wrestling, and man, it's so great that you got power in your hands and that you're able to strike. How did you transition into the striking? What did you start with the striking? What did you start with? Boxing, kickboxing?
I just started in the street. I got in a couple street fights and I landed some right hands, and I was like, wait a second, I think I got something there. And when I started striking, it was with boxing. You know, I really love boxing. I got a couple kicks, but I just like to box these dudes up, you know.
You were fighting in the street.
I'm sorry, Jimmy. I'm sorry. Okay. How old were you when you started the boxing?
19.
Oh, okay, man. All right. And so that transition, so you knew you had power from landing someone in a street situation or two. But but when you had to learn the technical aspects, was it difficult transitioning from the grappling to the striking?
It felt natural for me. I never want to go into a fight and feel like I have to wrestle somebody. And so for me, the boxing, I don't know, it just felt natural and it felt fun. And wrestling's exhausting, dude.
I know.
It's exhausting. I'm like, if I can just stand here and strike, that I'm happier with that. But I'm gaining confidence as I strike with these strikers. Douglas is a striker forever. He's a Muay Thai striker, and he's been that way forever. So if I'm out striking these guys, I'm happy.
It's funny you talk about how tiring it is. I trained. I'm just a white belt in jiu-jitsu, and we were doing like just takedowns today, and I'm like, there's nothing more fucking exhausting than this. I mean, it's just grabbing someone in a single leg and taking them down, and when they're letting you do it. It was a drill. I wasn't even fucking really doing it. It's the most exhausting thing. Having wrestling must make you more confident with striking, because you have no fear of somebody taking you down, and you know that if somebody's out striking you, that you have the ability to press them up against the fence and pull them down if you need to.
Right, exactly. We always got that in our back pocket, and we'll add it when we need to. You know, I thought I might need it a little bit more, but I landed one right hand at the beginning. Excuse me. And it landed, and since that right hand landed at the beginning, I was just looking for that knockout. I was like, oh, I landed that easier than I thought. I thought he was going to be a little faster. So I think that was kind of a problem, to where after that, I was like, I know this right hand's going to land tonight and I'm getting my 50 G's, but I can't focus on that. You know what I mean? I just got to focus. I just got to stay in the moment and just focus on what my game plan was. So I will say I was hunting the knockout a little bit. And I'll be aware of that next time.
Hey, Miles, first of all, happy Father's Day. One father to another. I'm reading here the stuff about you. We're a lot of life besides just being stocky bald guys. I'm like with heavy hands and being grapplers. I see here you teach the kids class at Marathon MMA. Is that right?
I do. Yep, I love it. My oldest son is 7, and my other one is 5, and they're both doing it right now.
It's even more fun when they're in your class, right? Isn't it great? Because I got my 3 daughters. I do the same thing. I teach the classes for the kids, and when your kids are in there, it's a little. It makes it not that you're not involved. It gets you even more involved. Like, you know, you want to see them.
And I see them learning. I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's crazy. I never knew an armbar that young. He's 7 years old. And he knows all these submissions, and I'm like, dude, it's mind blowing. It's really fun.
Yo, it's funny, Miles. I had I was watching one of those like World Star Hip Hop Fights, whatever, something on the Facebook.
Yeah.
And I had my 11-year-old watch. She's like, and it was horrible. It was one of those that, and she's just a matter of factly. He's like, oh, but Dad, they can't even fight. They don't know how to fight.
Right.
You know, because she knows how to take people. She's 11 years old. She's taking them down, strangling people. You know,
Yeah.
they can't understand. Like, what are they doing? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So our kids will grow up knowing just how to fight better than like I'm older, but as I did as an adult. Like, you know, it's so crazy.
Crazy.
You know?
It's crazy.
What
Yeah.
are kids good at when you train them? Like, what's the difference between training kids and training an adult? Because kids' brains are so much different. Do they adapt faster? Are they less afraid? What have you noticed about teaching them?
You know, I've noticed I found a way to make my kids practice what I teach. You know, I'm not forcing them to, but they do. Adults, if you show them something, they'll practice it once. If it doesn't work, they go back to old habits. They have habits already instilled. Kids, if it doesn't work, they trust you as a coach. They'll keep trying it, and then it'll start to work, you know? So I've noticed that with the kids, and I love it. My oldest son is the type of kid that if he misses practice, he cries. I'm like, hey, I'm going to be gone for the week for fight week. I don't know if your grandma's going to be able to take you to practice or not. And he'll start crying like, oh, but what am I going to miss? My son, who's 5 years old, he's really talented, but he's just a chatterbox at practice. And he's like, oh, maybe I'll go, maybe I won't, you know? And so we just let them be them right now. I'm just noticing how they are. And then I have two more, and the youngest one is 3, and he's doing like a little pre-jiu-jitsu thing. And he loves it too. He has a nasty right hand. They're always playing UFC in my little game room. Like, fighter, are you ready? Fighter, are you ready? I mean, it's just like, it's just wild to see, man.
You let them watch some of your fights
After the fact,
Yes.
or they'll go to the other room during it, and then and my mother-in-law will tell them what's going on and how's it going. But just in case anything, I don't want them like seeing it live. But I don't think my older son would even want to. He's the type to like kind of close his eyes and look. He's so involved. So yeah.
It is crazy how dangerous all of these kids are going to be. Like, you know, when I was in high school in the 80s, there was one kid who knew karate or a couple guys who everyone knew could fight. And they probably couldn't even fight. They were just kind of crazy and they did drugs. Now it's like all of these kids are training. It's fucking terrifying.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's terrifying. And it's just really cool because the better you know how to fight, the less you have to fight. You know, if you're that kid in high school that everybody knows that they really know how to fight, what you don't have to fight for your respect. You know what I mean? Maybe you have to protect yourself. And in that case, they'll know how to protect themselves very well. So, yeah, it's just cool.
What I noticed with jiu-jitsu, I'm sorry, Jimmy, is in these videos, and like I was just talking about the world style hip hop stuff. Have you ever seen jiu-jitsu used at school? It's usually a kid getting messed with, and then you see them use their jiu-jitsu. I can't picture. I can't think of any time where I'm seeing people aggressively taking guys down and breaking their arms in at a high school. It's usually a kid getting messed with, and then they break it out, and then the bully's getting a busted arm or something. I love those. I love
and
those.
if it's the other way around, first of all, it goes on to the coach. Like the first time, look to that coach and be like, yo, you're not telling your kids. The second time, it's just the kid, and that kid, we're gonna have to do something. We're gonna have to fix this issue, you know. But I'm telling my kids all the time, like, we're doing this to protect ourselves and to learn martial arts, because martial arts is a journey, you know. And they're, I'm sure you know from your program too, these aren't the kids to go to school and just try to beat people up for no reason. These are all like solid kids, and their parents are solid. That's why they have them there. Like, no, not a ton of parents really know about jiu-jitsu as a sport yet. So most of the parents that bring them in are like solid parents who know the benefits of jiu-jitsu.
100%. And where is Marathon MMA? Where are you right now? Where are you?
Overland Park, Kansas City.
Oh, okay, nice. And you've been there a long time, that Marathon MMA?
2 years.
All right. And you like it then?
I'm loving it, man. It was, I love it.
Nice, man.
So what do you do when you're done with a fight? What's the first thing you do? Like, a lot of guys will treat themselves like they have a meal lined up, or they have something that they want to eat. That like I forget who we were talking to, Matt, recently, and they were just saying that they'll like look at the food and they keep thinking of what they're going to eat. What do you do?
Yeah, man, food is my thing right now. You know, I had to let go of some of the other distractions. I remember after my bonus against Anderson Dos Santos, I had 2 kids at the Airbnb, and one was sick. And so I went back to the Airbnb, and I didn't go out that night. Some of my friends did, my teammates, but I didn't. And I remember feeling like I should be. Like I remember being a little pissed off that
Sure.
I was at the Airbnb and not out partying. And I had to check myself real quick. You know, I was like, man, you just won the bonus. You got knockout. You should be out partying, blah, blah, blah. And I checked myself and I'm like, why? Why is that like what your desire is? I was mad that I was like upset about it. So since then, since I made these changes, now I don't look for that stuff. You know, what I really want to do is I want to spend Saturday night and Sunday eating all the shit that I couldn't eat before. Like, you know, I do eat a little bit too much. And then Monday, I want to get my dopamine from going back and not having to work out super hard. Just run, just jog, and just hit the sauna and be light. But that's where I want my happiness to come from, not from people in the club holding up bottles and this and that. You know, like forget all that, man. Like I'm here to make this last.
It is hard to like find ways to get that high. Like, you know, going out after any big event, but a fight especially, seems like the natural thing. And if you can't do that, all right, what am I going to do? Like cake or ice cream is a nice way to get kind of like, you know, it's a dopamine rush as well.
Yeah, it is for a little bit, but work is the best one. You know, like now I can do a leisurely jog. I don't got to go and do an 8-mile run and beat my last fight camp self. That's hard. Like I don't have to do that. I can just go and do a little 2-mile jog, hit a nice little stretch, like make sure my body's firing right because I'm working back in. And then after that, if I believe in that, after that, I feel so good. Like I feel happier than if I would have went and partied and ate all this crap and like done this mess. Like I'm happier and I want to do stuff with my kids because really that's what I want. That's where I want to be after. I'm away a lot during fight camp. So I just want to be happy to spend the time with my kids.
Oh, man, that's the way to be. It's way more productive, man. That other stuff's all superficial bullshit.
It is, yeah. And it doesn't make for a long career. I mean, for some it does. But for me, when I was drinking heavy, the alcohol was wearing my body out. The weight cut plus the alcohol, I was like, dude, after a weight cut, this is the last thing your body needs. But I'd keep pounding it, you know?
But that's you raised a good point, though, about when you're resentful of having to do something like stay in a hotel with one of your kids or something family. When we resent stuff like that, we're like, all right, there's something I shouldn't be doing. If I'm resenting doing this, is the stuff that I should be doing.
Exactly. That's time to put yourself in check. Like, don't lie to yourself, bro. Like, that's like those other things you want to do. Like, that ain't what you need to be doing, you know? So yeah, now all I want to do is be around my family and my wife, you know?
Well, you had a great fight, man. You looked really, really good. I mean, very, very solid. 30-20, 27 on 2 of the cards and 29-28 on 1. But a great fight against a very, very tough opponent. Do you have anybody in mind for next, or do you know who might be next?
You know, I did call out Ricky Simone. If he gets rid of this Oliveira kid, who I think that he will, then I think that'd be a good fight. Or I've been calling out Ayman Zahibi for a while. Excuse me. He's on a 4-fight win streak. So am I. I think that would be a good fight.
Yeah.
People said Pedro Munoz, and I thought maybe I need one more fight before that. But if they gave me that fight, I would love that fight. You know, so there's a lot of options, you know, and I'm excited. The bantamweight division is full of monsters. So as happy as I am, that little voice in the back of my head is just like, bro, you better be ready. You got 4 wins stacked up. Can you make it 5? Can you make it 6? Like, what are you going to do? You know, and I think one thing about me is like when I would wrestle, sometimes I'd wrestle and I'd beat a kid by 3 points. And then this kid would go wrestle somebody else and get pinned. And then I'd wrestle the kid that pinned him and I'd beat that kid by 3 points too. So sometimes I'm guilty of fighting to the level of my competition, but making it look easy. Like Cody Gibson, I mean, easy. No offense to these guys. Douglas and Silva Andrade made it look easy. Like, but that doesn't mean that just because I'm fighting at that level, I can't also make Pedro Munoz look just as easy. Like maybe we can, you know? So yeah, I kind of lost my train of thought there, but that's something about
you're
me,
ready for him. If you think you might need one more fight before they give him to you, but if they said he's next for you, you're fine with that and you feel ready for that.
Just because I'm not knocking my way out all the way up, which I wish I was. I also wasn't a huge pinner in wrestling. I was a guy that would beat you pretty easy, but probably beat you by 5 or 6 points. And I am working on changing that, but I understand that about myself, and I believe that I can fight with the best in the world.
Well, Miles, yeah, congratulations. Great fight, man. You looked really great.
Yes.
I know you guys got knocked up on the card because of, that last minute switch, but, you looked really good. I was happy for you, and you definitely, it was a very decisive win. So looking forward to
Thank
seeing
you.
you fight again.
Me
Thank
too,
you.
bro. Yeah, man. Congrats. And enjoy a little time off and some, ease
Yeah.
back into it. It feels good
Yeah.
to train after. Your body feels. You just get off at camp. If you don't have any injuries, you're like, oh man, I can just do this when I feel like it, compared to having to do it 2 times a day plus a run. Enjoy,
100%.
dude. Enjoy your family.
Appreciate it. Appreciate
All
it.
right, Miles John.
All right,
Thank you,
Miles.
buddy. Thanks a lot.
All right. See you guys.
Yeah, bro. Hey, man, he's got his head on straight. He's
Yeah.
got his head on straight.
To recognize, hey, I'm letting something interfere with enjoying my kids, or even doing something unpleasant, like looking after when they're sick, to go, hey, wait a minute, anything that's in the way of that, I should stop doing, is really good thinking.
Dude, unless you're a single guy and you want to go out there and you look for a date after a fight, you're like, what are you doing?
Of course.
It's okay to celebrate with the boys a little bit, celebrate with the gang, your team. But he's got the right head.
Can we also, Matt, talk about this? Sorry, buddy. Can we talk about this this Conor Michael Chandler fight canceled, Prochazka and against Pereira 2, which again, that's a fight that I'm dying to see. But
It's exciting.
and Shemaev, so now Alaskarov is fighting Robert Whitaker. There's so many. But Mick Maynard and those guys, man, it's every time their phone rings, they must be like, oh, what the fuck? What's now what?
It's the fight game, man. They roll with the punches. You know what I
They
mean?
do, but there's also so many more fights now. There's so many more cards almost every week. So the odds of something going wrong, you also have more guys to choose from. But
Jimmy, my
Yes.
wife made barbecue pizza, not barbecue pizza on the barbecue. Yes.
ooh, how was it?
Oh, Jimmy.
You enjoyed it?
I said, she goes, want a cauliflower? I go, you know what? No, it's Daddy Day. I don't want cauliflower.
No
I
cauliflower.
Want gluten. I
Hey,
had
Nick.
extra gluten.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you, sir?
Good, thank you.
Mick, man, good to see you, dude. I love
Hey,
how that
brother.
shirt goes with the back. Where are you right now?
How are you? I'm in my office at home.
Man, dude, look at that shirt, the way it goes with the background of your wall.
It does.
That's like Ray Longo, every time he's doing something special, he wears a blue shirt to go with his blue eyes. I don't know. Mick, good to see you, man.
It's good to see you also. How are you? How was Father's Day?
Well, it was very good, man. We chilled out at the house, I was just telling Jimmy, my wife did barbecue. She made pizzas on the barbecue. So
Oh, nice.
I felt like Dave Portnoy. I'm holding up. I go, look at that. No, Bobby.
That sounds delicious.
So good. How's the academy going?
Good. I'm part of 3 now. So
You have 3 schools yourself?
yeah, well, I'm a partner. I'm a partner. in 3 of
And what is it? Henzo Gracie what?
I got Henzo Gracie Lake Houston, Henzo Gracie Mount Bellevue, actually 4. Henzo Gracie Austin, and then it's kind of the one downtown Houston. So I used to, when I was younger, in my whatever, I used to go to a boxing gym. It's an old school boxing gym downtown Houston, and so they adapted, and now they do MMA, and they had jiu-jitsu room, and so I went a little bit of that. So it's kind of cool.
So
It's more like a passion project than anything. So that's why I forget about it all the time.
you love it, man. You love it, and you
Yeah.
live it. Are you teaching at each one of these schools, or?
No, I'm just teaching at the one up the road from me. So like tomorrow I'll be teaching when I'm home. When I can, I try to. I'm not very good at it, but I'm working on it.
Is there a pressure when you're in a school like that and you're with fighters? Are they on a level of people who are going to go pro? And are they people who think that, like, well, maybe Mick can help me? And then you have to kind of go like, look, you got to go through the process like everybody else to try to get a shot in the UFC. Do they think they're going to shortcut with you?
Question.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think mostly, there's one kid in particular that I actually think has a real good chance. And, there may be more, but right now he's gone pro, but he's a 145er. 155, but probably 145. He makes it into the UFC, and that's not my weight division, so I don't have to worry about it. But it's also more of a jiu-jitsu school. You know, I mean, we do have MMA, and there's a special MMA team that we have, and they're very good, but they're small, and they go to different gyms as well and train. But really, the focus is jiu-jitsu.
Hey, let me ask you. Now, I've been around a long time, and I've met all the matchmakers over the years, from little Joe Silva to Shelby, of course, Sean Shelby, and you, Mick. You never hear anybody bitching about Mick. Don't get me wrong. I like Shelby too. Well, people could bitch about him a little bit, maybe. Joe Silva was a little fucker towards the end. But, and I know him. I used to talk to him about comic books and stuff. And then he got a little big for his little bridges. He became like an evil little Jimmy. Jimmy's like, if you had like a bizarro evil. No, Jimmy's not. Jimmy's a sweetheart. But anyway, Mick, you're such a nice guy. How come no one's ever like that fucker Mick? I mean, how do you stay you're so calm? I never seen the guy, anything other than just relaxed and nice and polite.
Nice.
Do you ever get hot-headed with some of these people? Or
I do. I mean, not so much with the fighters. The managers can drive me nuts from time to time. But, I mean, everybody has their agenda. I mean, truth be told, the managers are more like salespeople, if we're being honest, in many aspects. And so, they have their agenda for their particular fighter. Yeah. I have probably 320, 330 athletes on my part of the roster. So my agenda is for all of them. I don't have a dog in the race. I want them all to be amazing. I want them to be successful. I want them to be the most exciting fighters in the world. Like I said, I don't have a dog in the race. Whereas the managers are trying to sell me on something most of the time. So that can create some tension.
Can you think? Oh, I'm sorry. Can you think of a fight that you pushed for that happened that people didn't want to do that turned out to be an amazing fight? Like, is there one you can think of where you're like, you kind of fought to make it happen, or you pressed a little bit to make it happen, and your judgment turned out to be right, and other people didn't necessarily think it was going to be a good fight?
For sure. I think most recently is Urseg versus Pantoja. I think nobody could quite understand why we made that fight. He was down further in the rankings. So there was a lot of people questioning saying it didn't make any sense. And it turned out to be an absolute amazing fight. Yeah,
that fifth round, crazy decision Urseg make, I think, to go to the ground, right? That was just a bad move. But yeah, that was a great fight.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's interesting is it's actually a pretty good takedown attempt. He just got reversed. But yeah, I think that obviously, I think we all know in hindsight that cost him the fight.
And on that same question, just a little bit more with that. Like, so let's say, was there ever one that where you pitched to Dana and he was unsure of it, and then it did deliver, and you went to him, and he went, anything like this, or no?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. And that happened, and he gets like, all right, you did a good job. Yes.
Yeah, I think the one that I remember that I really had the most fun with. It's always fun giving him hell. If the opportunity arises, and he takes it well, you know what I mean. So it's as you know better than anybody, it's 100%. Always fun to rib him a little bit.
100%. Usually he's goofing on me more than me on him, but yeah, I get it. He can take it too. He could, he liked it better when I was fat though, because he'd always attack me. On the flip side of that, is there ever one you pitched he wasn't sure of and it did not deliver, and you were like, during the fight, you're probably like, I'm in the fucking doghouse, or no?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Listen, it has to happen. Sure. It has to happen, because as much as like I'm looking forward to a certain fight, like everybody else is, and next thing you know, it does not deliver. But you guys put that together, you must be like mothered,
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look at everyone. I'm not ragging on him. Let's face it, it is what it is. But look at Derek Lewis versus, and he didn't doubt this. Nobody doubted this Lewis versus Ngannou. I got you. Yeah. Nobody said, and that's why when the people in the crowd are booing, and it's my fight in particular, I take it personal. It sucks. I feel like I hate sitting there. But when everyone was booing that fight, I said everyone thought this fight was going to be a banger. So I don't give a shit.
Of course, that was that was a co-main, I think, right? Wasn't that co-main? I want to say in the Garden, if I remember correctly, or was that in Vegas?
You know what? That's a good question. I can't. Sorry, allergies in Houston.
Oh yeah.
But I can't remember where was it. That's a good question. Maybe it was Vegas.
But no one can fault you for that one, though.
It
You're
wasn't
right.
Gotham. Yeah.
That's what everyone expected to be a knockdown, just an explosion. And, it was just one of those ones where they canceled each other out a little bit. And I think Derek Lewis said he had back problems, if I remember correctly. He said his back was bothering him.
If you ever get cornered by angry fans, just throw Shelby under the bus. They don't know who they don't know who belongs there. I was that little fuck Shelby. I didn't want that fight.
Yeah, that's cool. I love it.
It's good, man. So, Mick, how many days a week are you rolling yourself, man? Because we need our therapy.
Honestly, I messed up my neck. My neck's been really jacked up now for several years. So I don't roll a lot. When I do, I always make sure it's with other black belts, so they don't spaz out on me.
Yes.
Because when the last time I rolled with a bunch of blue belts, and it really was just being in the center, and they were taking their turns trying to pass guard or whatever the case was, and but they were going nuts, and so I couldn't sleep for 2 weeks. And it's like that's a quality of life issue when you can't sleep.
Yeah.
And so I learned my lesson from that. So I'll, tomorrow when I teach, I'll probably do a couple rounds of the other black belt that teaches with me. But we don't go nuts, so that helps.
It still keeps you sharp, though. It keeps you sharp. Yeah. You're sweating, you're moving, you're stretching. I do a lot of that. Lately, I've been doing a lot of the same thing. I teach an over 40s class, and I'll jump on those guys a lot. And then I feel guilty. I'm like, I'm beating up on some old men. Then I find out half the guys I'm rolling with are younger than me. So I'm like, what? Am I a bully now? No, I just gotta, But in my mind, I still think I'm fucking 20. But
do you find that like a blue belt is almost more dangerous because as a black belt, they feel like you're fairly indestructible, and that they feel like they're gonna have to go hard just to keep up, whereas a black belt understands the right amount of pressure to not hurt something that's already bothering you.
And I think, a lot of times, and yes, it's even worse with white belts. I mean, I don't think in terms of skill level, I'm overly freaked out or worried, but in terms of they don't really have anything else, so they just, for the most part, just go kind of nuts. Blues, is of course better than white belt for the most part, but yeah, I'm the black belt. They're going to go nuts and they want to try to get a notch in their belt. And so, yeah, they're going to go particularly hard, I think, a lot of the time.
I am a white belt, and my biggest fear when I'm training is that the guy who I drill with is a purple belt, and he's really helpful. My greatest fear is that I'm going to hurt him being a clumsy asshole. Like, because he's giving me positions. I'm not fucking earning he's giving me, showing me how to do an armbar. I'm afraid that I'm going to do it wrong and hurt him because I'm stupid. So that's really scary, is to think that I could do it too hard, not knowing, and cause an injury.
Yeah, I think that's happened to me. But I mean, it just basically got cut in the head because, the kid was spazzing out and headbutt me, and it split my wig a little bit. But it is what it is. It's all part of it.
100%. It's a contact sport, but
right, exactly.
You pick your battles. You for the longevity to stay on the mat. Even just the explosiveness with the newer guys. They just don't know. It's not usually malicious.
Nah,
so,
it never is.
It usually is not, behind the scenes show. Let's talk about that really quick, because I want to watch it.
On Roku, yeah.
It's very interesting. Where can we watch that? Tell me about that.
Yeah, it's on Roku, Fight Inc. It's on Roku. I just watched it on my phone because I was traveling, so it was a good opportunity to catch up with it, and I liked it. I think it turned out pretty well. It was interesting, and I knew they were following us around for a really long time. Not all the time, but I mean they were filming stuff, so they obviously had to do a lot of editing. They cut a lot of it down because I'm sure they had just an incredible amount of footage. Yeah. And it was cool. It was cool. It's fun to watch.
How frustrating is it for you? Oh, so I'm sorry. Like you got Connor is hurt. You have Pereira has to defend against Prochazka again. Like you have all of these things, Chimaev, and it's a part of the thing. You're going to have guys get hurt. Do you think, is it happening more now? Maybe just because there's more fights, so there's more opportunities for guys to get hurt. It just seems like every week there's a card now, so the odds are greater that somebody's going to get hurt. And it's just got to be very frustrating for you, especially when one like Connor or John Jones or one of those falls through.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the key, right? I think last week was an absolute brutal week. It was exhausting and frustrating, and it just felt like bad news just kept on rolling in to the point where I was getting texts from managers of people pulling out of fights, and I was so tired. I just said, okay, I didn't have anything. I was emotionally done. But it's also people. With Connor, it's a special situation. Obviously, there is one Connor, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you can, and so him falling out of a fight, what 2 weeks? 2 weeks out of the event. What do you do? You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
think that what we put together is extraordinary, but it's still not Connor.
Yeah.
And
Right.
so I think that's a special circumstance in many ways. So hopefully that never happens again. At least not on the Connor level, but it is going to happen again. It's the name of the game. It's the way it goes. We just jump into action, and like I said, it's special with Connor. It's different, but we're used to it, and we just jump in there and try to get something done.
Well, it's crazy what a star Alex Bejeda has become in this short period of time, and he's probably ready to go. I mean, again, he isn't at camp really, but after Jamal Hill was a first-round knockout, so I mean, he didn't take any real damage in that fight. But man, has he become one of the bigger stars in the UFC in just, I don't know, was he had 5 or 6 fights? It's crazy how fast he's risen.
Yeah, and you know what? That's really the key there. I mean, I think if you're healthy, you should fight. And I think he's done it so often in a short period of time that he's been with the UFC, and obviously he's had incredible results, so that helps as well. But that's gonna increase your stardom. I mean, we saw the same thing happen with Izzy. When Israel came in, he fought, I think, about every 2 months, and so he just catapulted himself to the title shot. Of course, he won, but it made him a star as well. And if you can do that, let's face it, that's how you make money, right? If you're healthy and you can fight, I think you should stay as busy as you possibly can. And, that's the difference between a Pereira and Izzy, and then, some of the other guys that are a little less active.
I like when they showed. I'm sorry, Jimmy. They showed him actually take the phone call of him accepting the fight. I don't know if that was on Embedded or what was that on. I seen it.
Yeah, I saw it on Instagram. I saw it on his Instagram.
It might have been on his Instagram, Alex Perez Instagram. Well, you seen him in the car taking when he's accepting the fight, and I'll tell you, he looks cool as a cucumber. That guy.
Yeah, he sure does.
There's no way that. Listen, I don't give a shit. There's no way that fight's not going to be exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, how can it not? And Prochaska is nutty. I mean, he's crazy. He's wild. You know what I mean? So you're just going to get all sorts of loony stuff out of him.
Yeah, man.
He's a really fun guy, and I love that he stepped aside and he vacated the belt voluntarily at one point, and then said, "I'll come back and get it when I'm not hurt anymore." And I'd kind of like to see him get this just to see a third fight between these guys. Like sometimes if the matchup is so good, I kind of want to see a split just so I know there has to be a third fight. Adesanya against Duplessis, that's a great fight. People wanted that a while ago, but I think Strickland came in and just wrecked that for everybody by doing what people thought was impossible, which was winning a decision like that. What are you hoping for this year for the UFC? Obviously, you want to have big fights, but is there a particular goal you have, or something that you think you'd like to do better, or you'd like to take further?
I mean, I think we keep outdoing ourselves each year, quite frankly. And I think, I do hope that Conor gets healthy, and I do hope that Conor is able to fight before the end of the year. I think if there is anything that I'm really hopeful for, it's that. But everything else is kind of falling in line.
The guys like Leon Edwards, who we loved and pushed for a long time, some of those guys who are kind of just quieter, they're not really shit talkers, quote unquote, or they're not going out there and demanding this guy or that guy. They seem to take a little longer to get those shots. Is that kind of a part of it too? It's the guys who just grind. As matchmakers, you go, we love this guy, but it's a little harder to sell this guy than it is to sell Colby or somebody.
I mean, I think the squeaky wheel usually does get the grease. I don't know if that's in everything, right? But I mean, that might play a part of it. I mean, obviously that's marketability. I mean, it is what it is. Leon has been great. I think he would have fought more often. I think some things fell through. It wasn't a matter of us not wanting it to happen. And then, of course, there's timing. We got the Manchester show coming up July 27th. Fighting him prior to that doesn't make any sense. We obviously you want to have him in his market because it's going to be a big deal there. So, there's a lot of different things that play into it.
That's a good point. He did have some fights. He had a run of bad luck for a while. Something didn't happen. He'd get hurt. Somebody else would get hurt.
He did.
Well, look, Mick, I mean, congratulations on the success. I mean, I mean, they credit you obviously with saving the flyweight division. You must know that you get credit for that.
Well, that was a nice thing you said. It has definitely become my baby. I think that, it's hard. Believe it or not, well, I guess you would. Once I say this, it makes sense. There's probably more. I have more flyweight prospects by a ton than any other division, and you'll have some guys over there in Europe and some of the stands. They're like 17-0, 18-0. I mean, there's some really, really good flyweights out there. I think, but the division suffers from them being so small. And I think you could walk up to somebody, you can walk up to your local bar right now, sports bar, and there's some dude that doesn't do anything but sit there on a stool and drink all day. He probably thinks he can whip their ass. And so you're right. I mean, he probably thinks, yeah, I'll kick that little guy's ass. He won't, by the way.
No, he won't.
Hey, Nick and Jimmy, you should watch this too. One of the best things I've seen in a long time was Demetrius Johnson going in the open weight brown belt division in the world, I believe. And he went versus a guy like 250 or something, or heavier, 260. Mm-hmm. And he beat him. He strangled him.
Yeah.
I believe with a modified clock choke or a bow and arrow choke. But it was so cool to watch because you seen him throwing him around and he's bing, bing, bing. He was like a superhero. But I'm sure you've seen that.
Mick. Yeah. It's when you bring him up. Years ago, I'd spoken to him about this. And I guess, and this makes sense, right? I mean, think about your gym. I mean, he's got big guys coming there. He's got football players coming in and different people that he's trained with, and he just destroys them. I mean, it's so, there's so many examples of that. And these guys are so incredibly skillful. I mean, people lose that.
Before we let you go, what is the word on Chimaev? I meant to ask you that before. They said it's an ongoing illness. Is it one of those things that you think is going to prevent him from fighting again, or are you guys honestly optimistic or no?
I mean, yeah, we're optimistic, but I mean, it does seem like, obviously, we were talking earlier about, fighters that stay active. And when he first started, Matt, you're probably there at Fight Island.
Yes, I was there. Yep.
Yeah. But he took
twice
late.
in like a couple of weeks.
2 weeks. He fought twice in 2 weeks in 2 different weight classes.
Yeah.
So this is a guy that wanted to fight all the time, and then it just went away. Now he never does. So it's a real bummer.
Wasn't it like that first time he got the COVID? Didn't that hit him hard though?
Yeah, I think that hit him really hard.
I
like
think that
really,
might
really
have
hard.
something to do with it. Yeah.
Yeah, that messed him up big time. But yeah, he took that fight. I think he took he got hit twice in his first fight, but I'm talking, it was like that. I think he had the guy down and he hit him.
I remember Dana was going, oh, he's supposed to be fighting a guy they're calling him the white Mike Tyson and this and that.
Yeah.
And then, right? And then it was like, boom, and I'm like, holy shit. He took him right out of there and made short work of him. Like, oh, this guy might be something special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, man. Great work, Mick. Always good to see you, dude. I'm surprised it's your first time on here.
Thanks for having me. It was a great surprise.
Man, let's do it again.
Yeah, come on again, too. I mean, you guys never get the credit. You get mentioned by Joe and those guys. They all know who's doing it. But I don't know if the fans realize what you guys do, other than occasionally hearing your name mentioned. But, I mean, everything we see is because of what you guys are putting together. So, I mean, you put together some amazing cards, and I say it all the time, the UFC's ability to have like rivalry after rivalry, matchup after matchup, that you guys make the fights happen that people want to see. It's crazy. It's what boxing does wrong. You guys do perfectly well. So great job.
Well,
man.
You know what? Go watch Fight Inc. I mean, a lot of the stuff you're talking about, it's in that whatever you call it, documentary or Fight Inc. on Roku. So go check it out. You'll get a lot of questions answered.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mick.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Mick.
guys. Have a good day.
All right, talk to you again.
Take care, man.
See you soon. All right, see you later. Bye.
Hey, man, let me tell you.
Yeah.
He's such a nice guy, this guy.
Yes.
Always such a nice guy. Every time I see, just a mellow, cool dude. And then, awesome accent. Nate.
I don't know if I met him in person. I met Sean once.
Yeah.
I think that was in Vegas.
You shall be death match in a cage.
Sure.
Yeah! Let's fucking go! I'm cornering you.
All right. Listen,
All right, Jimmy. Hey, Jimmy, we have fun, huh?
we certainly do.
All right.
Wow.
Listen, man, you know, we're going to be on. Oh, I'm not going to see you.
You might. I just don't know yet.
You don't know yet. So you
I
might
don't-
be this episode. You might not be. I'll be here.
Yeah,
But
I might be on a plane.
I don't want anybody to get nervous that I'm not going to be here.
No, Matt will be here. Yeah, Matt and his abdomen. Next Monday, by the way, is episode 800.
What did you just say to me?
I'll definitely be here next Monday.
No. Wait. Did you just say to me that Monday is going to be our 800
Yep.
episode?
Yep.
800 hours with us together, me and you. Here's the 800 more.
Thank you, Mick
Jimmy,
Maynard, Miles
Yes.
Johns. Yes.
Fun times. Mick Maynard, Miles Johns, good times. And hey, man, Jimmy, fat black pussycat. Oh, wait, you're not going to be there this
No,
Wednesday.
this Wednesday I will not be there. Thank you for reminding me. I got to cancel that.
Please
And we will talk I might be here Wednesday, but if not, then I'll talk to you Monday on the 800th.
I love keeping everybody in suspense.
We'll let you know.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye, Matt.
Bye, Jimmy.